Hello everyone. In the previous session, we have discussed about the most common terms which are used in electrochemistry. That is resistance, specific resistance, or you can say resistivity, then conductance, conductivity. We have studied the definitions, formula, and SI units. And one more term we come across, that is cell constant. What we said, the ratio of length to the area of cross section of a conductor is called its a cell constant. Now bit continued part of that cell constant, say the cell constant of a conductor depends on the distance between the electrodes and their area of cross section. As we said, formula G star is equal to L by A, which means cell constant of a conductor depends on the distance between the electrode, that is the length, and area of cross section. So overall, what is the first point here? That cell constant of a conductor depends on the length as well as area of cross section. Then the second point, what it says, the cell constant is usually measured. Well, how we are going to calculate or determine the cell constant of a conductor means not by taking, that is, not by taking a ratio of length to its area of cross section, but in turn, cell constant of a conductor is measured by determining the resistance of that conductor. So how we are determining cell constant means first we are going to determine the resistance of a conductor. By knowing the resistance, we are going to calculate the cell constant by using this relation. So what we know, G star, that is cell constant is equal to L by A, length to the area of cross section. Further, on substituting the terms, we can say G star becomes equal to R into kappa, that is specific resistance, or we can say specific conductance, or I can say conductivity. So by knowing conductivity and by measuring resistance, the product of these gives the cell constant. Okay. Then, well, what type of solutions can be used here means generally potassium chloride solutions, KCl solutions are used to measure the cell constant of a conductor. So here, why KCl means the specific conductance, or I can say conductivity of potassium chloride solution is measured. We are going to get accurate values for, that is kappa. The accurate value of kappa can be calculated for KCl solutions. Therefore, the most commonly used electrolyte solution is KCl solution, which is used to measure the cell constant of a conductor. So it is regarding some important concept regarding cell constant. Okay. Then, well, I said cell constant is measured by knowing the, or I can say by first measuring the resistance of a conductor. Well, how resistance of a conductor is measured means with the help of term called Wheatstone bridge. So with the help of Wheatstone bridge, it is possible to measure the resistance of a conductor. Well, what is the Wheatstone bridge? Basically, is a combination of known and unknown resistances. So I can say here, Wheatstone bridge is nothing but is a circuit, a kind of circuit. It contains known as well as unknown resistances. So what we are saying, Wheatstone bridge is nothing but it's a combination of known and unknown resistances. Means there will be combination of four resistances usually. There will be R1, they can be indicated as R1, R2, R3 and R4. So we are saying four resistances, they are connected in the form of a loops. See here, R1 is a variable resistance, R2 that is the unknown resistance, R3 and R4 are a fixed resistance, or I can say ratio resistances. So here, when you think of determining how we are going to determine the resistance of this R2, or I can say R2 unknown resistance, with the help of Kirchhoff's law. So when you go through some physics concept, there will be Kirchhoff laws, Kirchhoff's junction law and Kirchhoff's loop law According to that, it is possible to determine the unknown resistance with the help of Wheatstone bridge. So here, overall we can say here Wheatstone bridge is nothing but basically it is a combination of known and unknown resistances. They are connected as like shown in the figure. Say R1, R2, R3, R4, four resistances are connected in the as shown in the figure. Here, so 4 points. Say A, B, C, D. So A, B, C, D. So A and B terminals are connected to the external source, or I can say battery, and this B and D are connected with the help of galvanometer. So whatever the current enters through the circuit, which is measured with the help of galvanometer. So whatever the deflection we observe in the detector, I can say galvanometer indicates the flow of current. So we'll go through this. The first point, experimentation, what it says, the conductor whose resistance to be measured is connected in a Wheatstone bridge as R2, which means R2 is the unknown resistance. And second thing, the variable resistance R1 is changed. So here R1 is a, as I said, it is a variable resistance. We have to change the R1 continuously till to get zero deflection in the galvanometer. So whatever the detector we said here, we are going to place a galvanometer. We have to change the R1 till to get zero deflection in the galvanometer. So then that R1 is noted down. Then by knowing the value of R3 and R4, as I said here, R3 and R4 are the known resistances whose values are already known. By knowing those values, we can calculate R2 by using this relation. So R2 is equal to R1 R4 divided by R3. So that is, as I mentioned here, by using that Kirchhoff's rules, okay, junction rule, and another one is loop rule. By using that, it is possible to measure the resistance of a conductor with the help of Wheatstone bridge. So it is regarding measurement of resistance of a conductor by using Wheatstone bridge. Now when you think of, when you consider conductors, as we mentioned, there will be two types. One is metallic conductor, second one is electrolytic conductors. Well, as we said, when you think of measuring the resistance of a conductor, well, can we measure resistance of these metals as well as electrolytic solutions by using Wheatstone bridge? Well, practically, measurement of resistance of a metals is possible in the help of Wheatstone bridge. Means in that circuit, we can connect a piece of a metal in the circuit as a conductor, and its resistance can be measured. That is, its resistance can be measured with the help of Wheatstone bridge. So in a Wheatstone bridge, a solid metal, that is a solid conductor, can be connected. If it is present in a solid form, we can connect. The terminals of that metal can be connected in a that Wheatstone circuit. But if it is electrolytic solution, or I can say if it is a ionic solution, we have problems. It is not possible to measure the resistance of ionic solution by using Wheatstone bridge, because practically we are going to face two problems. First one, by passing direct current. If you pass direct current through any ionic solutions, or I can say electrolytic solution, what happens? The composition of a solution changes. Means whenever if you pass a direct current, whatever the ions present in a solution, they undergo change. Ions are undergoing some chemical changes. So if they undergo chemical change, what happens? The composition of solution itself changes. So is the first problem. So what is the first one? By passing direct current, which changes the composition of a solution. Okay, is the first problem. Second thing, as I said, it is an ionic solution. As like metal, that solution cannot be connected in a bridge. That solution cannot be directly connected in a Wheatstone bridge. So what we are saying, a solution cannot be connected to the bridge like a metallic wire or any other solid conductor. So these are the two problems. Means if I want to determine the If I want to determine the resistance of ionic solution with help of Wheatstone bridge, well, one are going to face two problems. First one, by passing direct current, there will be composition changes. Second thing, that solution cannot be connected like any other solid conductors. Well, these problems can be resolved. Say the first problem, what is that? By passing direct current. Yes, we have another form of current, that is alternating current. So if I want to measure resistance of ionic solutions, what is the first problem we said? Direct current cannot be used. Well, in that case, we can use alternating current. So the first problem can be resolved. So the first difficulty is resolved by using an alternating source of current. That is AC current can be used. Instead of DC, we can use AC, alternating source of current. Well, the second problem, what we said, the solution cannot be connected like a metallic wire, or I can say any other solid conductors in a Wheatstone bridge. This problem can be resolved. How? By specially designed cells, they are called conductivity cells. So the solution, whatever the solution we want to measure the resistance, that solution is taken in a specially designed conductivity cells or conductivity vessels, so that vessel containing terminals, those terminals of a vessel can be connected to the Wheatstone network or Wheatstone bridge. So two problems can be resolved. So I will go through this. The first difficulty is resolved by using an alternating current source of power, and the second problem is resolved by using specially designed vessels called conductivity cell. Two forms. These are the diagrams of a two conductivity cell. So here there will be two platinized terminals or platinum electrodes, and is with the glass vessel having a side arm through which we can fill the electrolytic solution, and these terminals are connected in the Wheatstone network. Or else another form, okay, a vertical form of a conductivity cell. Simply what we can do here, this vertical form of a conductivity cell simply dipped in a electrolytic solution, so that those terminals are further connected in a Wheatstone network. So if I want to think of measurement of resistance of ionic solutions or electrolytic solution, yes, that ionic solution whose resistance can also be measured with the help of Wheatstone bridge by making these two changes. What are the changes? First thing, instead of using direct current, we have to use alternating current. And the second thing, that solution cannot be connected directly. Instead, what we have to do, the solution whose resistance to be measured is taken in a conductivity vessel, and the terminals of a conductivity vessel is connected in a Wheatstone network. So it is regarding measurement of resistance of ionic solution. Well, coming to the next concept, molar conductivity, or I can say molar conductance. Now here we are using word molar. Well, molar, or I can say molarity. What it says? The number of moles of a solute present, or I can say dissolved in 1 liter of a solution. So here, that molar conductivity, we know the meaning of conductivity. What is the conductivity? Conductivity is the conductance of a solution having unit length and unit area of cross section. So according to that, if I think of molar conductivity, or I can say molar conductance, what it is? It is the conducting power of all the ions produced by dissolving 1 mole of electrolyte in a solution. So in simple words, I can say is the conductance of 1 molar solution. So simply it is named as a molar conductance or molar conductivity. So what is the definition? The molar conductivity is defined as conducting power of all the ions, produced by dissolving 1 mole of electrolyte in a solution. So is the one definition. Well, in another way, how we can define is the conductance of volume V of a solution. So now I am specifying here volume. So what it is? The conductance of volume V of a solution containing 1 mole of electrolyte. 1 mole of electrolyte kept between two electrodes with area of cross section A and distance of unit length is called molar conductance. So just I will repeat this. The conductance of volume V of a solution. So we have VML of solution. How many moles of electrolyte present in it? 1 mole of electrolyte present in it. So 1 mole of electrolyte present in VML of solution. So that VML of solution having area of cross section A and unit length, its length of that solution is unit length. So the conductance of that solution is considered as a molar conductance. So the simple way of defining is the conducting power of all the ions produced by dissolving 1 mole of electrolyte in a solution. Or else we can say the conductance of volume V of a solution containing 1 mole of electrolyte kept between two electrodes with area of cross section A and distance of unit length is called molar conductance. Well, how this molar conductance is abbreviated means it is denoted by symbol lambda m. So this lambda m indicates the molar conductance. Now, molar conductance and specific conductance, or I can say conductivity, they are related by this equation. So molar conductivity is equal to kappa into V, that is conductivity into volume of solution V. So lambda m is equal to kappa into V is the relation between conductivity and molar conductivity. So lambda m is equal to kappa into V. Here lambda m, that is a molar conductivity or molar conductance. Kappa, that is conductivity, or I can say specific conductance. V indicates volume of a solution. Well, we got a basic relation between molar conductivity and specific conductivity, or I can say molar conductance and specific conductance. What is that relation? Lambda m is equal to kappa into V. Say we are going to get different forms for molar conductivity or molar conductance. First case, if m is the molarity of a solution, how we are going to express the molarity? In terms of mole per centimeter cube. Generally, the unit for molarity moles per decimeter cube, or I can say moles per liter. Now, if molarity is expressed in terms of moles per centimeter cube, then what happens? M moles of electrolyte present in 1000 centimeter cube. Instead of saying 1 liter, now what I am saying 1000 centimeter cube of a solution. That M moles per liter means M moles of electrolyte present in 1000 cm cube of a solution. So here now what happens? Therefore 1 mole of electrolyte present in 1000 by M cm cube of solution. So here one basic relation we said lambda m is equal to kappa into V. Now what is the volume here? 1000 by m. So lambda m is equal to kappa into 1000 by m. So is the one form. Means here what is the expression? If molarity of a solution is in terms of moles per centimeter cube. If molarity is expressed in terms of mole per centimeter cube, then lambda m is equal to kappa into 1000 divided by m. So if you go for unit for lambda m, in this case, say kappa, Simon per centimeter is a constant. Molarity, how it is expressed? Moles per centimeter cube, as specified here, moles per centimeter cube. Now Simon per centimeter taken to the numerator, so centimeter cube, mole remains as it is, so Simon per centimeter cube divided by mole. So overall what is the unit? Simon centimeter square per mole. When it is a case, if molarity of a solution is expressed in terms of mole per centimeter cube, then formula will be lambda m is equal to kappa into 1000 divided by m. And what is the unit? Simon centimeter square per mole is the unit. Simon we know, that is per ohm. So we can say per ohm centimeter square per mole. Then if you think of formula overall, what is to be remembered here? Lambda m is equal to kappa into 1000 divided by m Simon centimeter square per mole. Okay, if you use this formula, lambda m is equal to kappa into 1000 divided by m. What is the unit? Unit will be Simon centimeter square per mole. Important thing here is formula and unit must be remembered. Okay, what is the formula? If formula is lambda m is equal to kappa into 1000 divided by m, then its unit will be Simon centimeter square per mole. So it is the first case. Then according to SI system, the unit of molar conductance or conductivity will be Simon meter square per mole. Is the SI unit of molar conductance, that is Simon meter square per mole. Well, then coming to the second case, well, molarity of a solution, if it is expressed, that is if m is the molarity of a solution and it is expressed in terms of moles per liter. Now I am specifying molarity unit as moles per liter. Then what I can say? M moles of electrolyte present in 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube of a solution. 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube, decimeter cube. Okay, 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube of a solution. Then I can say if it is 1 mole, m moles present in 10 raised to minus 3 meter cube. If 1 mole of electrolyte present in 10 raised to minus 3 by m meter cube of a solution. Now it is the volume. Therefore, general formula we said lambda m is equal to kappa into V, or lambda m is equal to kappa into 10 raised to minus 3 by m. That is, we are looking for 1 mole of electrolyte which is present in 10 raised to minus 3 by m meter cube of a solution. So here lambda m is equal to kappa into 10 raised to minus 3 by m, or else we can say lambda m is equal to kappa by 1000 into m Simon meter square per mole. So two formula we have for molar conductivity, or I can say molar conductance. First one, lambda m is equal to kappa into 1000 divided by m Simon centimeter square per mole, or else lambda m is equal to kappa divided by 1000 m Simon meter square per mole. Okay, any of the form can be used, and according to that unit must be remembered. And two important things are interconversions. So 1 Simon meter square per mole is equal to 10 raised to 4 Simon centimeter square per mole. Further, 1 Simon centimeter square per mole is equal to 10 raised to minus 4 Simon meter square per mole. So it is regarding molar conductance, or I can say molar conductivity. Similarly, as like molar conductivity, even we can define, that is, if the concentration of solution is expressed in terms of molarity, then its conductance is considered as molar conductivity or molar conductance. Similarly, this equivalent conductivity or equivalent conductance, now here the concentration of a solution is expressed in terms of normality. Okay, normality is also one of the concentration term. Now, equivalent conductivity is the conducting power of all the ions produced by dissolving 1 gram equivalent of an electrolyte in a solution. Just you have to recall the definition for molar conductivity. What we said there? The conducting power of all the ions produced by dissolving 1 mole of an electrolyte. 1 mole of an electrolyte in a solution. Now what we are saying? 1 gram equivalent of an electrolyte is the basic difference, molar conductivity and equivalent conductivity. So in molar conductivity we used to say 1 mole of an electrolyte. Now in equivalent conductivity what we are saying, 1 gram equivalent of an electrolyte. So definition, the conducting power of all the ions produced by dissolving 1 gram equivalent of an electrolyte in a solution, okay, is called equivalent conductivity or equivalent conductance. Further, how it is denoted means it is denoted by lambda E. Lambda E indicates equivalent conductivity, or I can say equivalent conductance. And further, if you think of relation between equivalent conductivity and conductivity, similar relations, lambda E is equal to kappa into V. So here V is the volume of solution containing 1 gram equivalent of electrolyte, or I can say solute. First case, as like we studied in the molar conductivity, similarly here also the normality of a solution can be expressed in terms of number of equivalents per centimeter cube and number of equivalents per decimeter cube. So if a normality is expressed in terms of equivalents per centimeter cube, then what is the formula? Lambda E is equal to kappa into 1000 divided by m. I repeat, if normality of a solution is considered as equivalents per centimeter cube, then what is the formula? Lambda E is equal to kappa into 1000 divided by m. Now what is unit here? Simon centimeter square per equivalent, EQ raised to -1. So unit for that lambda E, Simon centimeter square per equivalent, Simon as we know per ohm, so per ohm centimeter square per equivalent. So overall here what is to be remembered? If normality is expressed in terms of number of equivalents per centimeter cube, then formula is lambda E is equal to kappa into 1000 divided by m, Simon centimeter square per equivalent. On the other hand, and what is the SI unit means? Again Simon meter square per equivalent. As like in case of molar conductivity, Simon meter square per mole. Now here Simon meter square per equivalent. Okay. Then coming to the second case, if a normality of a solution is expressed in terms of number of equivalents per liter. Okay, I'm going to say if the normality is expressed in terms of number of equivalents per liter, then what is the formula? Lambda E is equal to kappa by 1000 into n. Okay, kappa by 1000 into n, Simon meter square per equivalent. Okay, so 4 formulas for molar conductivity, 2 formula, and similarly for equivalent conductivity 2 formulas. These 4 formulas along with their unit must be remembered. Okay, well, some note points. Now if I consider 2 forms of conductivity, that is molar conductivity and equivalent conductivity, lambda m molar conductivity and lambda E equivalent conductivity. How they are related means lambda m by lambda E is equal to Z. Lambda m by lambda E is equal to Z. So what is the Z here? Is the total charge on the cations or anions. Okay, Z indicates the total charge on the cations or anions. Then second thing, its solute is sparingly soluble. Sparingly meaning if it is weak electrolyte is undergo partial dissociation and which is partially soluble, incompletely soluble. So if it is the case, if solute is sparingly soluble in a given solvent, its concentration is taken as its solubility. Okay, so in such case, so lambda is equal to 1000 into kappa divided by solubility. So it is regarding molar conductivity and equivalent conductivity.